Why are y'all here so early? Y'all trying to get promotions too? I saw all y'all on here, so I thought I'd go ahead and join too. I wasn't gonna be left out. But we have what, 15 minutes before 7 o'clock. I just thought we could chit chat. Stephanie, I'm going to mail your book today. Kayla, I'm going to mail your 2 gift cards today. I have a field trip this morning. No, I don't have a field trip. I have a tour. I have a tour this morning. So, I will have to mail everything after the tour. Yeah, I know. What the heck? Why are we here? Girl, we should be in bed. We got 15 more minutes to sleep, and here we all are, need our friends, you know? I saw all y'all on here, so I was like, well, because usually at about 10 till, I start signing into the studio and all this stuff. And I go out here, and there's like 10 of y'all already on here. I'm like, well, what are they doing? Why are they here at 6:45 in the morning? Yeah, Stephanie, I'll send your book today. And thank you, Deb. I'm getting very comfortable with that tractor. But Shane was like, I told him to watch my video. And so he watched the video together. He went, Judy, this isn't a 5-speed. You don't shift a second. And I was like, well, what do you do? Make it go faster. He goes, this ain't, you don't just shift gears. And I was like, Shane, when I'm in first, I am creeping. And he was like, shifting to second doesn't make you go faster. And I was like, well, then what? He won't teach it to me. He's like, I'm not teaching you all that. You're not ready for that yet. And I said, well, you're making me think I know what I'm doing. So I'm going to have to start YouTube because he won't teach me to go faster. And it's not that I want to fly. When I tell you, it's like this. I can't handle it. I cannot handle going that slow. I'm like, I'm not that much of a dumb butt to need to go that slow. Like I can't go that slow. So like it's not, I can't handle it. So ask Brooke. Brooke's been so busy lately. Brooke and I used to talk like all the time. I did talk to her last night though, but I don't know, she's got a lot going on. So I haven't really been able to chit chat. We've been griping about Facebook because Arm's family is going through what Cockhill has gone through. And it scares me because I'm thinking, here I am trying to build my platform on Facebook. And what if they take it from me? And I've worked like 4 years to get where I am today. It's like kind of scary. I still have my piglets. That's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother story. I haven't announced where they're going. I was going to let the farm that gets them announce it before I announce it. Oh, let me put on my watch. Stephanie, where's Christy? Is she sleeping in? Does she know these entrepreneurs here at 6:45 in the morning? Why y'all up so early? Oh my goodness, Kayla, are you serious? Don't you hate when you have phone issues? I got the new, I think this is the 15 Pro Max, and I bought it so I could have better quality, like um, family. I'm reading and talking at the same time and it's not working. Better picture quality when I'm recording. I had to either get a new phone or go get an what's it called? A GoPro. And so you know how when you trade your phone in, they give you money to go towards your other phone? Well, I have this phone and I have no idea what I'm supposed to do with it because they didn't send me a little packet to go send my phone back. So I hope I don't get in trouble. I need to call Verizon today and say, you didn't send me a packet to send my phone back. Inspired clips. Does that mean if I go to second, I'm going faster? I mean, there's obviously gears like a 5-speed, but see, this is what he doesn't understand is the first time that I ever like I'm comparing to a 5-speed car, right? And so in order to crank a 5-speed car, you put the clutch in and crank, right? Well, he said, Judy, are you serious? So he's lied to me. So if I do go to second, I go faster. Is that what y'all are telling me? Anyway, well, on the tractor, he said, Judy, you do not have to put the clutch in to crank the tractor. And that like makes absolutely no sense to me because when I'm driving a 5-speed car, you have to put the clutch in to, crank the car. So like my brain doesn't work right with the tractor. And then, on a 5-speed car, in order to go to reverse, you go down, like over and down. Well, on a tractor, it's over and up. And then to get out of park, it goes up and back. So like my brain doesn't work right with this whole learning the tractor thing because it's not like a 5-speed. So like if you think that you can drive a tractor because you know how to drive a 5-speed, it doesn't work that way. Oh, you don't. Okay, so you've never tractors are different from a 5-speed. Like nothing is the same for a 5-speed as it is a tractor. Like nothing. As a matter of fact, I can't understand this either. And I'm gonna have to because Shane's like, all you need to know is right here. Because he won't let me go any faster. And so there's a little lever right here on the side that's the gas, but there's also gas at the foot pedal. And it's not like, like a car is there's the gas pedal and the brake and the clutch, right? Okay, well, on a tractor, it's the brake and the clutch. There's no gas pedal like right there. So it's very, very confusing. The gas pedal is on the ground and you hit it with your heel, I think. And then there's also this gas thing over here. And I'm like, why is there two gas things? That doesn't make sense. And so Brooke's tractor ain't nothing like my tractor then. If her tractor's like a lawnmower, this thing that we have is nothing like my tractor that I have is like a lawnmower. Gas, brake, gear. That's it. It's no clutch and all that stuff. Well, our tractor is large. It's a big tractor. I don't know what size, but it's massive. So it has the clutch, gears, and all that. And then it has like, you know how like in a truck you have 4-wheel drive and there's this other little handle thing? I sound like a redneck. Okay, so it has one of those, and I do know something to do with that makes it go faster. But he was like, "You are not learning how to make this tractor go faster." And I'm like, "Watch me." And I'm only going to go faster if I'm on flat land. Steve, are you, are you there was a Steve that kept getting on to me for cutting my husband down. You're not that Steve, are you? Because if you are, you're going to enjoy today's video. If you're not, I'm sorry. But there's a Steve that thinks that I'm terrible to my husband. I know. I want to go faster. But that's the great thing about YouTube is because if you want to learn something, I don't care what it is, there is a YouTube video for it. That is me. Okay, Steve, we need to talk. Steve, we need to talk. But today I think that you'll enjoy because I know you think I beat my husband up. And it's actually how I don't know if you call it flirt, but like it's just kind of how we are. Um, so I hope that you enjoy today because today is about Shane. We have a couple of minutes left, but I'm glad you're here, Steve. I hope that you can kind of get some input. I hope you can get, but see, Steve, this is what happens. See, like, you know how, like, when you text someone, there's no tone behind the text, right? So then what happens is you read the message and you interpret it a totally different way than the person meant it because there's no tone. There's just texting, email, text, whatever, typing, comment. There's no tone behind it. So, like, every time that you would say that, I wish you'd quit talking. I can't remember what you said. I wish you quit talking ugly about your husband. It started becoming like, what? He thinks I'm mean to Shane? Are you kidding me? Like I am the rock star wife to him. Like so like I was taking it wrong, but there was another lady in the beginning of my YouTube stages. And she got her feelings hurt because I wasn't commenting. She asked a question and I did not comment back to her. And she started getting her feelings hurt and she started saying some things. And it's really funny because now, today, like she sent me a letter apologizing to me. And today I love her to death. And I loved her to death back then. It's just that, like, it's hard to read tones. You know what I'm saying? So, like, sometimes, it doesn't come across right. And the good thing about my page is it's okay to have an opinion because I'm not gonna, like, I don't know, like everybody throws their opinions out, and it's okay because we're all not going to agree, which is what I talk about in my on my page, is how we can all feel differently and still get along. And so that's why I'm glad you're here, Steve. Becky, you're so sweet. Okay, it is 7 o'clock. It is time to plug the curling iron in and get ready, because I have a tour pulling in the driveway. I have a lot of new followers on YouTube and that time it did it. I have a lot of new followers on Facebook and YouTube. So I feel like I need to kind of introduce myself and tell you what I'm doing this morning, because not everyone understands their Aunt Judy. I got you, Steve. So I'm Judy. I call myself Aunt Judy simply for a reason. It's because when people come here to my farm, I want them to feel at home. I want them to feel like they're at their family farm, because it's important for me to, my whole My whole purpose for my farm is to give back what God has blessed me with. And I feel like um, when I tell kids that I'm their aunt, it's like they're like, I had no idea. And then it's almost like the connection's totally different because then they do feel at home with my farm because they feel like these are their animals. And that's the goal that I want to accomplish because I want people when they come into my farm to get into the moment. And getting in the moment is something that I had to learn how to do. It doesn't come natural because what happens is if someone said, okay, close your eyes and stop thinking. Like if you're in a yoga class and you're at the end of yoga and you go into final relaxation where you're laying on the floor flat and closing your eyes, your brain is spinning, okay, what am I going to cook for supper? Okay, you know what? My job is awful. I hate my job. That coworker that said that to me today, your mind is spinning. And it's hard for us as human beings to learn how to take your brain and make it blank. That is like that, it doesn't come natural. It is a learning process, and it's taken me years and years and years to get to the point where I can get to mindfulness, where I can learn how to get in the moment. And I would like for you, I don't know if you can do that, if you've even practiced it. Like when you're going to sleep at night, you're like, I wish my brain would turn off. Like literally, I'm so tired. I just need to go to sleep and my brain will not cut off. That's what I'm talking about. With people with a mental illness, they struggle with that all the time. Like their brain never cuts off. And so, when your brain is spinning out of control, like when there's a situation that you can't control, a person that struggles with anxiety or depression, their brain is like they might say something and then they're like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have said that. Now they're mad at me. Oh my gosh. If I could just go back, well, maybe I'll call them and tell them, like your brain is going like that. It's just spinning. And then at night, you find yourself, you're so exhausted because your brain has gone 90 to nothing and you've never gotten in the moment. And so when I need to start getting ready, hang on. So when I got my farm and learned how to get in the moment was the moment my life started to change because I could slow my brain down from like spinning out of control, worrying about people, what people thought of me, worrying about what I had said the earlier that I shouldn't have said or whatever. So like I call myself Aunt Judy because I want people to get in the moment when they come to my farm. I want them to forget about the stress of having bills, the stress of a job, the stress that their kids were screaming the whole way to my farm. I want them to actually get in the moment. And so, um, in order to do that, I feel like that me telling them that I'm their aunt kind of helps with it. I've seen a difference because I didn't do that in the beginning. I never called myself Aunt Judy. And when I started doing that, kids started, I noticed a difference in the kids. So that's why I call myself Aunt Judy. Okay. Another thing, I went to the football field this past weekend because I drove this young girl. She was in homecoming around the ball field in my Jeep. Okay. And there was a little girl there with a curling iron. Right. And I recorded her and I said, oh my gosh, she has a preaching stick at the ballpark. Okay. Well, I don't know. The little girl and her mother saw my video and was like, that's my daughter. And I began to spin going, oh my gosh, she thinks I was making fun of her for having a curling iron at the ballpark. And so then I felt like she doesn't know her Aunt Judy. She needs to know what I'm talking about because I'm sure she thought I was making fun of her for having the curling iron. And okay, so if you're just following me for the first time, I need to explain my curling iron. Okay. I don't know when this started. I'm going to say a year ago, maybe not even that long, but On my lives, I tell you real life situations simply because I want you to know that you're not alone. And I want, like, when you see on Facebook and I look like I'm the happiest person ever, and I'm taking selfies with my animals, and I'm with kids teaching them. You think that I have all my, what together, and I don't. So during my live videos, I talk about real life situations because it's a way for you to get to know me and for me to get to know you, and to know that everything that you see in a picture is not always reality. So, like, when you see me, and I'm smiling, I could be dying inside and you don't know it. And you think, oh, Judy's got the perfect life. She's got the perfect marriage. She's got, like, everything's just perfect. I wished I was Judy. No, it is not like that. So my lives, I go to talking, and I don't know, it's just I it's almost like I miss my calling to be a preacher or a motivational speaker or something. And so when I go to talking, I was live one day and I noticed that I was going like this. And I was like, what am I doing? And I would be curling my hair and then I'd start going like this. So I named my curling iron my preaching stick, because every time I go live and I start getting serious, I get my preaching stick out and I start, like, waving it so you know that I'm serious. And it just got to be a running joke with me and my followers, because they were like, oh Lord, she's bringing out the preaching stick. And so, like, it just stuck. So I wasn't making fun of the little girl at the ballpark. I just thought it was so, like, as soon as I saw her with the curling iron, I was like, oh, she has a preaching stick. So I had to tell y'all, because I thought it was the funniest thing ever. Not that she was carrying a curling iron. It had nothing to do with her. I understood why she was carrying a curling iron, because she was a cheerleader and she was curling her hair for the ball game. But if you're following me for the first time, this is a very important piece in our live videos. It is when I need you to know that I'm serious, I pull out my preaching stick. So that's what this is. Okay. What else do I need to say? Oftentimes, when people are kind of ugly or opinionated on, and I'm not talking about you, Steve, like, people will criticize things that hurt a creator's feelings. Like, I don't know why you wear your hair like that in videos, because it looks like you haven't washed your hair in months. That's very hurtful. That is an opinion, but it's also very hurtful to tell me that I'm a cheese ball. Okay? It's not a nice opinion. So sometimes, you know how your mom tells you to keep your opinions to yourself. So, like, this one lady kept commenting about my hair in every single video. So I was beating myself up over my hair because she kept commenting. And finally, I had to turn it into a joke. So sometimes, if you're following me for the first time, I say that I'm having Cynthia hair. And that means that I'm having a bad hair day and my hair is a train wreck. Okay? Because usually I own a farm, right? I own a farm. So during the summer, I am pouring sweat. So I might look like I haven't washed my hair in 3 months, and it's pure sweat. So I do say things like that. If your name is Cynthia, I'm not judging your name. It's just what I say. It's not anything bad. So don't take it personal if your name's Cynthia or whatever. Okay. Today I want to talk about my husband. And I want to talk about our relationship. And I want to tell you, that's not cute. I want to talk about Shane, because I told him I was talking about him today. Also, if you're following me for the first time, it's very important to have your protein in the morning. And so I often talk about going to grab your protein shake, and it's never protein shake. It's either Coke or coffee or something like that. It's just a gesture that I say, go get your protein, because we talk about, I don't know where this come from. Just started one day. I just said, go get your protein shakes. And it was my Coke Zero. So I don't follow me for makeup tips. Don't follow me for health tips. I'm just kind of silly. And so I say protein and it's not protein. Okay. So know that. All right, Shane. Okay. I'm going to be totally honest with y'all and tell you how we met. This is a crazy story. A like, I probably have slut written across my forehead, but I'm fixing to tell y'all how we met. I don't even know if I've ever said this out loud to y'all, but okay. My son was in high school. It was his, I think, sophomore year in high school. I was married at the time, and my son decided he wanted to go into welding because I don't know, the welding people came to the school and stuff like that, and he decided he wanted to go in weld. So he joined, like, I don't know what you call it, career check or something. You know, like he started doing that. Well, my son, let's see, his senior year, he was in a competition. Oh, wait, I need to back up. His probably junior year, I go upstairs to tell him goodnight or something. I don't know. He was playing games, and my son was dipping in his bedroom. And I walked upstairs. I said, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "I'm dipping." I went, "Oh, no, 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 no. We are not doing that." Because he was like, I think he's 15 or something. And I said, "Where did you learn this dipping?" He goes, "Mother, it helps me well better." And I was like, "Dipping helps you well better?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "Does your teacher allow you to dip?" And he said, "Yes." So the next day, I called the school and I said, "I need to speak to the welding instructor." And I leave this not so nice message to the welding instructor. And I said, "You need to call me." So that afternoon, the welding instructor called me and I said, "It has been brought to my attention that you allow my son to dip in welding class and he's 15 years old. This either stops or I'm calling the principal." "Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am." You know, the teacher was like, "Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm so, I know, no, I don't allow him to dip." And I'm like, "Well, that's what he told me. That's what my son told me. I will handle." And the teacher was like, "I'll handle this right away." And I was like, "Yeah, you better, because I'm fixing to flip my lid." Okay, so the instructor, the welding instructor, gave me his phone number in case there was anything I needed, and I put it in my phone. And again, this is like my son's sophomore or junior year. Okay, so I nipped that in the bud. Well, my son, his senior year, he was in a welding competition, and I took him. And so I had kind of forgotten that I pretty much ripped the teacher a new one like years ago. Like I forgot about it. Okay. So I go to the competition, and Corbin's welding instructor comes up and talks to me. And I had forgotten a little bit. And then it started coming to me. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, this is the piece of crap that lets his kids dip in class and crap." I was like, so Corbin didn't do so well at that competition. Well, the next competition, my son won second place. So I began to take pictures of my son and his welding instructor, and then the college that gave him a scholarship for see for winning the scholarship. I started taking pictures because, for my son's baby book or whatever. So I'm proud of him. Well, then by this time, me and my husband are on the outs. And then my son had another competition that he went to, and he won again. And so I took pictures, and his welding instructor said, "Do you mind sending me these pictures because I'm going to put it in the school paper?" And I said, "Sure, what's your phone number?" And I began to put his phone number to send him the text message, and his name popped up. And I was like, I forgot I cussed him out. And we laughed because he was watching my phone as I put his phone number in, and the name pop. You know how like you try to remember people's names? And I said, I was ugly. I said, Corbin's piece of shit welding instructor. Okay. So it popped up, and we both started dying laughing because I forgot that I had, put his phone number in my phone because I cussed him out the year before. And so we were laughing. So I sent Corbin's instructor the picture, and then we started laughing because of that. Okay. I'm still going, so bear with me. So then my son had another competition in, I think it was Jacksonville, Florida. Like we had to travel there. Well, there were hundreds of kids in this competition. I think there were 12 different states that were competing, and my son won. I can't remember. I think it was second place. My son won second place. And so I took pictures again. And of course, by this point, my son's won a full paid scholarship to college. So I'm starting to like his welding instructor because now I don't have to pay for college, right? So I'm like, well, maybe he's not so bad. So I sent him the pictures again, and we, Corbin was about to graduate. I think they graduated in May. So this happened in like January, I think is when my son's competition was. Well, my son was on the struggle bus. Okay, let's just put it that way. In high school, he was trying to find himself and just got in the wrong crowd and just started making some wrong decisions. So I was talking to his instructor because of that. Let's just put it that way. And we became friends. So now I didn't hate his guts. We started becoming friends. Well, we talked a lot, about my son, and like when he was struggling, he would call me and say, you need to talk to him. He's on the struggle bus. Anyway, so we became good friends from that. Well, then the instructor had a party, like a company party, and he wasn't dating anybody, and he asked me to go. And I was like, and my son had just graduated, and I was like, do I go? Like, this is my son's teacher. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't good. You know what I mean? And I thought, well, I'm on the phone with my friends. What should I go? Like, what should I do? And they were like, just go. Your son's graduated. It's not a big deal. So I went, and Shane was the instructor. Shane and I became good friends, and we hit it off. Well, then, lo and behold, to make a long story short, we were friends, and Shane moved to like 5 hours away. So, I'm not thinking nothing of it. I'm thinking, okay, he's moving, whatever. Well, we started like talking on, it was like a long distance relationship. And we started talking on the phone because he lived 5 hours from me. But see, it was a perfect relationship because I didn't really want to date. I had just recently been divorced and I had a son still in high school, and I was trying to figure out my own life. Like, what am I going to do? Like I just didn't want to be in a relationship per se. So it was perfect because I had this guy friend that I could talk to, and he ain't up my butt, like asking me on dates and stuff. Like I can just talk to him on the phone and he ain't around. And I can be a mother to my youngest son that's still in high school, and I can figure out my own life and where I went wrong in my last marriage, right? So we, let's see, we talked. I guess you call it dated, but we didn't really. I mean, it wasn't like we went on dates for 2 years. For 2 years, and then we started kind of becoming boyfriend girlfriend, I guess you can say. And uh, we started dating. He would come home on the weekends because he lived in Gulf Shores, and he would come on the weekends, and we would go on a date or something. And we got closer and closer, and he asked me to marry him. And I said, I'm not getting married to you unless until my son graduates high school, because I was not about to do that to my kid, right? Like I'm not doing that to my youngest son. And so I said, you'll have to wait a year and a half before I even think about it. And I said, I'm not marrying you unless you accept my son, my youngest son. That's a whole nother story. And you understand that one day I'm going to have to take care of my stepdad. I said, because my stepdad has no kids and he took care of my mother. And I need you to understand that one day I will take care of him. And he said, deal. I accept your son. And if you need to take care of your stepdad, it's not a big deal. I said, okay, well, then we'll set a date for a year and a half. And so we did. So yeah, that's how it happened. And so it was kind of funny because he talks about me cussing him out all the time because I hated him for letting my son dip in class, but he said he didn't. But I don't know if I believe him to this day. But anyway, so we met and we started dating. Okay, y'all know that I fight depression and stuff like that. So because we were long distance and never really were around each other a lot, we were always on the phone. I wanted to make sure he understood that I fight depression. Like I didn't want him to go into this and be blindsided that there's times when I have to be in the bed for a while. Like I want you to understand what you're getting yourself into, because I wasn't about to blindside him and all of a sudden we get married. Because, a lot of people nowadays, they start dating and they move in together and you don't really know someone until you live with them, right? So Shane and I had been together for 3 years, talking and stuff. So I knew him pretty well, but I kind of lived in the closet with my depression and anxiety. I was always on my best behavior around him. You know what I mean? Do you ever do that? You're like, I don't want people to know, so I'm going to be on my best behavior. Well, that's how I was with Shane. So I sat him down and I said, sit down. I need to talk to you. And I've never been so scared in my life to tell him that I struggle. And he's looking at me like, no, you don't. And I'm like, oh, yes, I do. And so I told him, that I had been in dual diagnosis centers and I have struggled and I've lost my jobs before because I couldn't get up and go to work. Like I literally told him, I just like threw up and told him everything. And he's just looking at me like, that's not the same person I know. And I said, because I'm on my best. I'm embarrassed to be that way in front of you. And he was like, why? And I was like, I don't know. I feel like I constantly want to be on my best behavior when I'm around you. He was like, good. And so we got married. And when I would start to struggle, he would say to me, and I've told you that he said this before, he'll say, "You can sleep when you're dead. Get up, we have things to do." And I would get to the point where I was like, oh gosh, because the last thing you want to do is have another failed marriage, right? Because my track record is not good. So I'm like, I need to be my very best in this relationship because I cannot let this relationship end because of me. And so I would go, okay, Judy, I would force myself to get out of the bed. I would be a total train wreck mentally. And I would force myself. I'm like, oh, Judy, you got to get up. You got to get up. You don't want another failed marriage. Get up, get up, get up. Because I knew that when I'm bad, like mentally, it's bad. And it can last months, it can last years. I could not, like in the past, when I would get like that, I couldn't get out of it. Like I would be so exhausted that I could not get out of the bed. I could not function. And I was like, and Shane would go, no, 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 we're not doing this. We're not doing this. Get up. And I was like, he's so mean. Like, but y'all, did he leave his phone? Or was that my phone? Anyway, because I wanted to be on my best behavior, I would do exactly what he would say. I would get up. I would force myself to get up. And what I would do, this is what I would do. I would get up, and when I moved, obviously I had to not work because I moved. So it's when we first got married, and I would go, okay, just get up while he goes to work, and then you can go back to sleep when he leaves. That's what I would do. And I would be like, okay, get up at 5:30 in the daggum morning and, do your best, go fix his lunch, whatever you got to do, and then just go back to bed because he'll go to work. And that's what I would do when I lived in Stapleton. I would get up with him, I'd fix his lunch, I'd be all cheery, and then he'd leave and I'd go and just crash. And I wouldn't get up to like 11, 12 o'clock. And then I'd be feeling sluggish. And then I would be depressed because I'd gotten nothing accomplished. And like it was just spinning out of control. It's like you don't want, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. So anyway, well, he didn't know that I would do that. But sometimes, and I don't know if you're like me, but when they would call and you would be in the bed and you would pretend like you're not asleep. And you're like, oh my gosh, he's calling. I've got to like be on my best behavior. Like I was fighting that because I wanted to be better. And so I would be in the middle of fighting that. Well, when we moved to Coleman and got chickens, wow, my hair is like super curly today. When we got chickens, let me back up. So in Stapleton is when my stepdad started to get sick. And so my stepdad moved in with us. So it was my stepdad, me, and Shane. And my youngest son was in college. And so when Shane came home and said that we were moving, I was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Like I was mentally just all over the place because I was trying to find my way in Stapleton because I had lived in Alabaster my whole, basically my whole kid's life. And I just gotten into Stapleton and I started teaching aerobic class in Stapleton and I started getting friends and I felt like I was trying to get better. Like I was trying to get on the recovery and doing better mentally. And I felt like I was starting to come around because I had to take care of my stepdad. And then he tells us we're moving. And I'm like, okay, for someone that is not mentally stable, when you take them out of one environment and throw them in another, it spins them out of control. It spins them out of control. So we move here and I don't know anybody, right? And so Shane is still like, you can sleep when you're dead. You're going to get up. Like, you're going, because he was like, you're not going to that place. The place that you told me about that you are mentally, we're not going there. And see, what happens is when someone is mental like that, it almost makes you mad. Like, you want to hit them in the head with a hammer when they get up at 5:30 in the morning because you're tired. Like, you're like, oh my gosh, where is the hammer? I need to throw this and peg him in the head because he's driving me crazy. But Shane has always made me feel I loved him so much that I always wanted to be my very best for him. So I never let him see that side of me because I didn't want to be divorced again, and I was trying to get better, and it was almost like he was forcing me to get better, and I was like two different people. Like, when he was around, I was cheery, great Judy, and then he would go away and I would just like I was so mentally exhausted from trying to be my best that I literally would have to get in the bed because my brain was just like, I'm so exhausted for trying to be my best around Shane. And I would just crash. And so, like, that's what I dealt with for a long time. And then we got chickens, right? And so, Shane, I'm not getting ready. I got a tour. I've got to get ready. Shane would get up in the mornings and let my chickens out. Okay. And when we got chickens, I thought, I can't do this. I can't get out of the bed. Like, I cannot do this. Like, there's no way I can do routine. Routine is nowhere in the equation of Judy's brain. Routine stresses me out. If I think that I have to get up and go to the doctor in the morning, I will stress out all night long, worried that I can't get up to go to the doctor, and then I don't sleep, and then I sleep through the appointment because I stayed up all night worrying about not going to the appointment. That's how my brain worked. So Shane would get up and do the chickens. Well, it got to the point where when he would do my chickens, I would be like, he has no clue what he is doing. That is not how I feed my chickens. Like, he didn't even put fresh water in the container. Like, I started doing that with, like, I would start getting mad. Like, I would judge him because he didn't do the chickens the way I wanted them. So what it did is it forced me to get up and do the chickens because I didn't like the way he did my chickens. So I would get up and beat him out there because I didn't want him to touch my chickens. So he started going, I guess you don't like the way I do your chickens. Why are you getting up and doing the chickens now? And I went, Joker, it's because you have no clue what you're doing. That's not how I feed my chickens. So it forced me to get up. Well, because of all this, it got me on a routine that I've never really been able to accomplish. I've never been able to accomplish a routine a day in my life, ever. And so it forced me to do that. And so, well, the weekends would come and that joker would get up at 5:30 in the morning again, and I'd want to get the hammer. I'm like, next time I'm putting the hammer by my bed and just pegging him in the head with it because this is driving me crazy. The chickens don't get up at 5:30 in the morning. We do not have to get up at 5:30. And I would begin to get frustrated, but I kept it to myself because I was wanting to be on my best behavior for Shane, right? Well, to make a long story short, this type of behavior forced me to get in a morning routine because I've never been mornings are anxiety for me. Mornings stress me out. I just don't do mornings. And I don't do nights. I go to bed at 8 o'clock. I don't do nights, and I don't need when people go, are you a night person or a morning? Neither. I'm a day person. I'm not night and I'm not mornings. I'm a day person. Does that even exist? Because that's what Judy is. I'm different. I don't do mornings and nights. I'm tired because my brain goes 90 to nothing all day long. And by the time it is nighttime or bedtime, I got to go to bed. If I do not get my sleep, I am crazy. I have to sleep. So I'm not day and I'm not night. I'm a day person. And that doesn't make sense to a lot of people. But when you struggle with depression and anxiety, you probably are a day person too. I don't know. You might not be. But um well, because I wanted to be on my best behavior for Shane, I went to counseling every single week and still do to this day because I have to work at recovery. Like it doesn't come natural. Like I have to wake up and go, it's a new day. Okay, this is it. I got one strand of hair that I did not curl. Look at that. Isn't that cute? I'll curl it in a minute. I said I've got like I do not want to have a failed marriage, and I need to fix every part of me. Because if I don't, I'm going to be divorced again. And this is not good. And Shane, I don't know why he makes me want to be a better person. I think it's because he is such an entrepreneur. That looks better. He is such an entrepreneur. Shane, I've never seen Shane tired. Shane wakes up every single morning and he's just like this. He's the same every single day. I wake up and I'm just like this. like you don't know what you're getting when I wake up. I might be good, I might be bad, I may not speak to you till noon because I'm in a bad mood. Shane is never like that. Shane is just like this. He wakes up the same every single morning. And the crazy thing is about Shane is when he wakes up in the morning, that's crazy too. When he wakes up in the morning at 5:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, you know how you go slow maybe? Like you get up, you wash your face or use the bathroom, and then you go drink a cup of coffee and you chill out a minute. And you're like, God, I don't want to go to work. You know what I'm talking about? And you're like, oh, I just got to sit here in my pajamas for just a minute. Shane is never like that. Shane gets up in the morning, 5:30, and immediately he goes straight to the bathroom and brushes his teeth. And then he gets ready. He gets his shirt on, his pants on, his belt on, his wallet in his pants, his shoes, his socks, like every single morning, 5:30 in the morning, that's what he does. It drives me insane. It drives me insane. I'm like, I see her and look at him. I'm like, how do you do that? Like, I don't understand. Like, how do you do that and so when we first got married, I said, look, Joker, sit your booty down because we need to talk. I ain't nothing like you. I do not wake up the same every morning. There may be mornings that I do not speak after I've had 2 cups of coffee. I am not putting my shoes on to go out there on a Saturday morning at 5:30 in the morning to saw wood. I am not doing any of that. So if you expect me to be you, you're setting yourself up for a failure because I am not you. And he just laughed. And this is what he does to me. And he does it to me. He does it to me most mornings. If I have a morning that I want to sleep in, let's just say to 6 o'clock. Okay. If I'm like, okay, today's Saturday, I have no tours. I'm going to sleep till 6 or 7 o'clock. Judy, have you looked outside? There is so much stuff to be done around here. You have got plenty of time to sleep when you're dead and gone. You need to get up and we've got work to do. Today we're sawing wood. You need to go clean out that brooder. Or he like does that to me. But see, that is so good for me. Because he forces me. And the thing is, he doesn't force me. He's actually kind of kidding. He's not really serious. He's like, he'll just he'll start, I'll be dead asleep. And he'll go, hey, hey, get up. You can sleep when you're dead and gone. Get up. And he's laughing. And then what happens is I start laughing, which forces me to get up because he makes me so mad. And I'm like, dude, he was like, you're not getting in a bad mood. I'm like, let me be mad at you for 10 minutes. I am so mad at you right now because nobody in their right mind does what you do. You think I'm different? No, 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 no. You are the one that's different. You are abnormal. I am normal. You are abnormal. And so then we start laughing because we go back and forth at each other. And so then it forces me to get up. But what happens is, what I have found is when I get on Shane's routine and I don't mock him, but I've kind of like, how do I put this? I'm like, when I think in my head, Judy, do you want to go back to where you used to be? Because I'm going to tell you something. One day of slip up, and I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. If you're not an addict or you're not fight depression or anything, you don't understand what I'm talking about. But one day of slip up with me turns into 2 days, turns into 3 days, turns into 4 days, turns into 5 days, and it just keeps going. And it doesn't stop. I will go right back to where I used to be, and I will go back there quickly with one day of slip up. Because, like, if I think, okay, today I'm just not feeling it, so I'm just going to stay in this bed because I'm going to say I'm sick. I think I have the flu, Shane. I'm going to stay in the bed. When I don't have the flu, I'm mentally jacked up. That one day of slip up will keep turning into more days. I know myself. I have learned myself well enough to know that I can't do that. And Shane doesn't realize, I don't think, that when he tells me to get up, I can sleep when I'm dead, that forces me to not have that one day of a slip up. And it keeps me well. But I don't think he realizes it. He's so good for me because he doesn't let me slide. If he sees me in left field, he'll go, what's wrong with you? What are you worrying about? And I'm like, nothing. That's a dang lie. That is a dang. He'll go, that is a dang lie. What is wrong with you? What are you worrying about? Who says what? What happened? And he'll start that, and he'll like, do you really care? Judy, go look in the mirror. Go see who you are. What do you look like? Come on, go look. You think you're fat. Go look in the mirror. Go put on a pair of pants. Are they tight? Like he will force me to be well. And when you're in the midst of wanting to be sick or wanting to relapse or whatever you're wanting to do, you don't like that. It makes you mad. It makes you just crazy. And it makes you want to go, I want to run like Forrest and just keep running and get the Dodge out of here, because I have got to have a mental day. I have got to and see, like I said, one mental day turns into 2, 3, 4, 5, and it just keeps going. And I know in my mind, I know myself so well that I know that I have to work at it every single day. And Shane keeps me balanced. And like, I don't know who you're with. I don't know if you're a young person that's not even with anybody, but if you're that person and you're with someone that doesn't make you want to be well, sometimes you're with somebody that makes you sicker. Because I was. I was married for 15 years. And I call myself like loving him unconditionally. But I stayed sick 24/7 when I was married to him. I couldn't get well. I was going in and out of rehabs When I say rehabs, let me stop. When someone hears the word rehab, they automatically think that you're a drug addict or you're an alcoholic. There's rehab for more than just addiction. There's e there's rehab for eating disorders. There's rehab for whatever you're addicted to. With me, with my mental health, I told you guys, let me think what year it was. I think it was 2014. I was in an outpatient center. I was in 9 weeks trying to learn how to get out of a depression and trying to figure out what the heck was wrong with me and so forth. And the doctor recommended me go inpatient. Do you know how hard it was to sit my kids down and go, Mom's going to be gone for 60 days. And my kids are looking at me because they're like, what? I have to go get help. I have an eating disorder. I am depressed and I have got to go get help. I had to sit my kids down and tell them that. Yeah. Yeah. You think I haven't been there? Oh, yes, I have. Oh, yes, I have. And I went to California, and I would love to tell you that's the first time I've been in the hospital, but it wasn't. It wasn't. And I I was like, "Okay, I have had to leave my children. I feel like a piece of crap mother to go get myself help." But sometimes you have to pause everything and you have to run after recovery so much that you're willing to leave your husband, your children, and everything because you can't get better. And you love them so much, you're like, Mom is sick. I've got to go get better. I promise you, I'm going to come back a changed person. And I did. I did. And when I came back, I continued outpatient for 2 years. I did it 3 days a week. I had to quit my job. I had to quit my job, and I was an outpatient for 3 weeks, and I had to learn how to leave my husband. What? Yes. I had to get enough strength and mentally right and financially right to be able to leave an abusive relationship. And it wasn't physical abuse. He never physically abused me at all. It was mental. And I had to get enough courage to go, I'm scared, but I love him. And she was like, what do you love? And I'm like, I don't know, just love. Like I've been with him for 15 years. And I had to, but the relationship was so toxic that I couldn't get better. I could not get better. No matter what rehab I went into, no matter what outpatient I did, no matter what I did, I could not get better. So I remember I talk about elbowing people out of the way. Yeah, let it be your spouse and let's see how well you do. Like leaving your spouse that you've been together for 15 years and your kids call him daddy and so forth. Like that was the hardest thing that I've ever done, was to leave that. But I had to. And I mean, we lived not that this matters, but I'm just trying to paint a picture for you. I lived in a 6,500 square foot house my kid's whole life. I lived in this big, huge mansion. It was beautiful. Okay. So like, and being in the relationship for 15 years to leave it, I went from a 6,500 square foot house to me and my son in this little bitty apartment. I've never lived in an apartment since I was 20 years old. And you know what was crazy? Is me and my son loved it. We We absolutely loved living in an apartment because the lady across the street was a widow, and the lady that was diagonal, she was about she's younger than me, but she was married with a little girl, and it was like the most because we would like in the middle of the night, she or not like in the afternoon, she'd come over in our house coat and we'd just sit down and have a cup of coffee. Or her daughter would come over and play with my son's hedgehog, or I would keep the lady's dog, or what. It was like the perfect little family. Vanson and I felt so accepted at that apartment. And you would think that we, like going from like high life to low life, you would think that we would be absolutely miserable, but you know that you need to leave. My son used to text message me from upstairs in his room, please, because he would hear how he would talk. My husband would talk, ex-husband would talk to me, and he'd go, "Mama, please leave. Please leave." And my son was 14 years old, 15 years old, and he would be begging me to leave, begging me. And I'm like, you don't understand. Marriages are hard. Like it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And it wasn't okay. And when we finally got out, we both felt like a load had been lifted off our shoulders. And I said I would never get myself in another relationship like that ever again. No one plans it, right? Because everyone's, on their best behavior when you're dating, right? And then you get married and you're like, who is this monster? You know? But Shane is so healthy for me. He is so healthy for me because he does not struggle mentally, and it forces me to be on my best behavior. And I'm not saying that our marriage is perfect, because it's not. It's not. But when you see us on social media and we're going after each other, it's our way of it's just we're Shane's a funny person and I'm a funny person. Like we're both real funny. So he'll go, I'm trying to think, like, let's say he leaves to go to the store and I'm like, give me a surprise. I ain't getting you no surprise. You ain't worth no surprise. Like you're not worth it at all. Yes, I am. Yeah, and we'll just go back and forth at each other. And maybe that gets on people's nerves. But it's our way, it's just what we do. We love each other unconditionally. Like Shane was single for 19 years. 19 years. And sometimes I'm like, why'd you pick me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you were single for night. Why didn't you just keep being single? Why'd you choose me? You know? And, like Shane is not the romantic type. Like, he's not bringing me home for Valentine's Day. I'm not getting anything. I'm not getting chocolate. I'm not getting flowers. I'm not getting, this is where you have to be. This is where I say, go, look, this is my preaching stick. This is where I say, you have to take care of yourself. Okay. Because I had to learn Shane. It's not that Shane doesn't give me Valentine's gifts because he's so ugly. He's so just a terrible husband. No, Shane gets anxiety because he doesn't know what to go get. He doesn't know how, like his brain doesn't know how. It gives him just, he just is not good at it. He's just, it's not that he doesn't love me. It's not that it's just who he is. And like, I have to not take that personally because he's just not that romantic guy. But that doesn't mean he doesn't love me. It doesn't mean that he wouldn't give me the world. Shane is very, let's see. Like at first, when I was trying to figure him out, he made no sense to me because I lost my wedding ring. Okay. Long story. I lost my wedding ring. And he's like, I'm not buying jewelry. Jewelry is not practical. I'm not doing that. And I'd be like, but it's important to me. It's important for me to have a wedding ring. Y'all see this ring right here? Are y'all going to laugh your head off? Hang on. Let me show you. Wait, there it goes. You see this ring right here? It was $25. It's so cool though. This is a cubic zirconia and I bought it from a jewelry store and it was like half off. It was like really $100. I've had it for a year. It's never turned. Oh, I've got makeup on my hands. But look, it has never turned. And it's $25. So if you think I have a big rock on my hand and we have loads of money, no, it was $25. But it's a perfect farm ring for me. And like I would get my feelings hurt because I'd be like, okay, jewelry might not be important to you, but it's important to me. And he's like, I'm not spending money on jewelry. But then he'll go spend $3,000 on me in alpacas. And I'm like, you make absolutely 0 cents. You'll go buy me $3,000 worth of alpacas, but you won't buy me a $3,000 ring. Mm-mm. And I was like, he's so dumb. He's such a guy. Like, what? But see, I had to learn how Shane is. He had to learn how I am. So, like, it's not just a perfect marriage. I had to learn why he does the things that he does because it's not because he's a mean person or he doesn't love me or what. I had to learn him. I did. And see, like, sometimes, like, as a woman, we can go, he said jewelry is not practical. He doesn't love me. He could care less whether I have a wedding ring or not. He could, because jewelry is important to a lot of girls, right? Oh, he doesn't love me. Da, 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 da. But see, I had to see through that because I'm like, a wedding ring, I can't take it with me when I'm dead and gone. Like I can't. I am on a farm. There's a big chance I can lose it again. Like I can kind of understand why he doesn't want me to have one because I freaking lost the last one, because I'm out there sweating and I'm out there wrestling goats and I'm shoveling crap and all this stuff. And this $25 ring is actually practical for me. And I don't really care because it doesn't turn. Now, if my finger was green, it would bother me. I'd probably be still fussing about not having a ring. But this ring, I don't know if it was a God thing or what, but it doesn't turn at all. I don't know why, but it was $25. So I encourage you, if you're not your best for your spouse, I encourage you today to learn how to be best for your spouse. Learn how to, and not for your spouse. Let me back up. That was not the right answer. Learn how to be your best for you. You have to run after happiness. And you have to know your triggers. Like I tell you that my trigger is if I lay in the bed for one day, it's going to turn into more, right? I had to learn that about myself. I had to learn that I'm not strong enough to have one down day because my down day goes into years and I can't get out of it. So like I had to learn, like this whole weight thing. How I've been beating myself up lately and I can't get out of it because I've gained some weight and I am just totally have beat myself up mentally. And it's not fair to myself. And I can't stop my brain from feeling the way I'm like, I feel fat. I don't even like, I don't like to, like, I had my picture professionally made and I cried afterwards. I was like, oh my God, look, I'm so fat. And Shane was like, oh my God, you're huge. You're huge, Judy. You're absolutely like terrible. And then he makes me start laughing because he makes me realize how ridiculous it is for me to say that. Because like me, I'm not obese, but what I'm trying to say when I say I'm fat is I don't feel good about myself. why am I not like, what is wrong with me? Why do I not feel good? Why do I feel like I'm fat? Why am I struggling? What is really going on with me? And I have to stop myself and go, what is happening? What is happening? And then I usually feel like when I do that, I'm like, it's PTSD from when I was younger. Judy, boys are not going to like fat girls. Judy, you're wearing that cheerleading uniform and you need to look your best because you're wearing a short skirt and you don't want to be fat. You don't need to put so much ketchup on your hamburger because I don't want you to be like me, Judy. I've struggled with weight my whole entire life and I don't want you to be me. And it wasn't that my mom was this terrible mom. My mom just didn't want me to struggle like her. But it was like an effect. And I had probably done the same thing to my children because I have focused on my weight my whole entire life. And now my kids are probably jacked up over it because of my struggles. And you know how you talk about stopping the generational curse? Like you want to stop it. And like if you're that generation that tries to stop it, you realize how hard it is to stop it. And you don't, as a parent, you don't do it on purpose. It's just your struggles, and you think people can't see it, and they can. And then it just keeps going, generation after generation after generation. And unless you're going to stop it, it has to stop with you. And it doesn't come natural. You have to go run after recovery yourself to figure out why you do the things that you do. So when I get jacked up mentally about my weight, I have to stop myself and go, okay, what's wrong? Why are you jacked up? And what are you going to do about it? And sometimes I can't stop myself. Like I have been in this little funk with my weight for months. And I cannot get out of it. I'm like, just be happy, Judy. Just be happy where you're at. Like, it's okay. You're not wearing bikinis. You're 52. You're not, it's not like you're in a bikini contest. Like why are you worried? As long as you look good in your blue jeans, I'm like, why do you care? But I do. I care. And so I have to figure out what's going on. And sometimes I don't bounce back easy. And one slip up gets me there. So that's when I have to call my counselor on the phone and go, if you have any cancellations today, I really need to talk. Okay, Judy, what's going on? I'm fat, Judy. Let's stop. Stop. And I have to break it down. I have to break down what's going on with me. But I'm thankful for my own recovery because where I sit here and talk about how great Shane is for me, I'm also very great for him because Shane has an anger issue. He's not me, like he don't fist fight or nothing like that, but he will pop off in 0.2 seconds. And I had to learn what to do with that because I don't have anger. So can you imagine if I had anger and he had anger? Can you imagine what our fights would be like? We would be cussing each other out and saying the most awful things to each other. It's good that one of us is not like that. And it's a good thing that Shane is not a depressed person. We're total opposites. So when he has an outburst of anger, I'll just go, really? You're going to go there? Like, really? It's almost like me going, I tell you what, you can get angry when you're dead and gone. But today is not the day to get angry. When you're dead and gone, you can chew God out or whatever you need to do up in heaven. But today and here on earth, you are not doing that to me. Like I put him in his place and I make him, it's almost like when I don't have, when someone has an outburst of anger and you stop yourself when they're having the outburst and you just look at them and you don't say a word. You just look at them. They suddenly feel stupid because what they're wanting is a response from you, right? They go, I don't know, they say something ugly, and they're wanting a response for you, and when you don't respond back with power and go back at them, it makes them go, "Oh, I look really stupid right now." I look really stupid because she's not coming back at me. And I do. And I'm like, and sometimes I'll do this. Like he'll have an outburst of anger, and I'm like, I need 5 minutes. And I just walk off because I have to get my thoughts together so I don't have an outburst because I'm not the outburst person. So I have to walk away and go, don't take this personal, Judy. That what he just said does not like it does not affect you. That's on him. It's not on you. Go get yourself together. Go get to my and that's my counseling that I've been through that helps me do that. Because otherwise, sometimes when people say some stuff, then we take it on and it becomes our problem when it has nothing to do with us. Nothing to do with us at all. It's their issue. You can't take on their issue, whatever they said. And generally, when someone's in the middle of an anger issue, they don't mean anything they say. They're just angry. Oh my gosh, is someone on my oh, Zoe's messaged me, so I'm thinking that there's a pervert on my page. Hang on. Hang on. Am I making sense? Am I making sense to y'all? Um, you have to somebody has to be the stronger person. And Shane is a stronger person when it comes to oh, I forgot to put I'm sorry. I'm talking and I forgot to do this. Shane is a stronger person when it comes to my weaknesses, right? It's because Shane doesn't fight the same things that I fight. So I need him to say to me, you can sleep when you're dead and gone, get up. We got things to do. It seems really mean but he's learned that I can't lay in the bed. Like he's learned that. And he's like, get up. get your butt out of the bed. You know, and I cannot tell you that I laugh every single time because I don't. When I see I want to hit him in the head with the hammer, I mean, I want to hit him in the head with the hammer. Like I'm so mad at him some mornings when he does that to me. I literally could choke him. Because when you're in the midst of it, you're like, today's not the day. Today is not the day. But see, I've learned that I have to push through those moments because that's the day I'll sleep in and it'll keep leading me to other sleep ins. I had to learn that. But see, again, if you've not had your recovery and your counseling, you don't know that because you're not strong enough to push through it. You're going to sleep in because you're not strong enough to go, this is a trigger. If I sleep in, I'm going to be sleeping in for a year. And then I have to go back to recovery and start all over again and tell everybody that I'm in California at rehab because I can't get out of the bed. I've learned. But it's taken me a long time to get to this point and to be strong enough and to be mature enough to recognize it. And I've always said that admitting your faults, no one, when you're in the midst of whatever you're struggling with, you're not happy. You're in the closet. You're always having to sneak around. You're always having to hide. When people try to call you out, you have anger. You're mad because you don't want your problem to come to the surface. You do, but you don't. It's kind of like it's kind of like, let's talk about weight loss. Okay. They've come out with this new medication, or they've done this new research where all these celebrities and stuff are taking that diabetic medicine to lose weight. And people, it's crazy because people that I know on Facebook, like, that I went to high school with, all of a sudden they're this big around. And you're like, what the crap are they doing? God, they're that big around. They've lost like 100 pounds. Like, what the heck? And so this phase is coming out where people are taking this diabetic shot. And my doctor actually said it's not unsafe. That's what she said. But see, is it unsafe for Judy? Okay, I'm going to tell y'all the truth. Recently, I went, when I had all that breakout, when I broke out, I went to the doctor and I said, hey, how do you feel about this new diabetic shot? I said, do you think it's safe? And she said, yes, I don't think there's anything. I said, would you prescribe it to me to lose 10 pounds? And she said, yeah. So what did I do? Will you do it for me? Okay. My doctor doesn't know I have an eating disorder, right? And she said, yeah. So she submitted it to my insurance to get it covered under my insurance. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm fixing to lose 10 pounds. Maybe I'll lose 15 so I can gain 5 back. And I felt myself, I'm like this. And I'm going 90 because what happens is on Facebook, when I see all these girls that used to be 10 times bigger than me and now they're this big around, it's a trigger for me just by watching. Just by seeing these people get skinny, it's a trigger to me. So immediately I want to get on the bandwagon, right? But see, they don't, my brain's different, right? So my insurance denied it. And I said, oh, well, daggone, should have known. So what did I do? I went to the pharmacy and I said, hey, my doctor prescribed me this medication and I need to know how much it costs. And she said, it's very expensive. Without the insurance, it's $1,000 a month. And I was like, okay, $1,000. What can I do to make $1,000? Like, that's the addict brain. Okay. That's how our brains work. Okay. Okay. $1,000. Okay. Well, if I tell everybody that I want money for Christmas and don't give me gifts, then maybe I can get enough money to get this shot. And if I do it for a month and not eat for a month, I'll lose 10 pounds like that. I always do. And then I can be skinny by Christmas. And that's my addict brain. That's how our brains do. Okay. And I'm spinning out of control. I'm totally out of control. So then I get with Shane and I said, hey, that doctor said that me and we could take the shot and you could lose weight and I can lose weight and we can do it together. I'm trying to get Shane. See, that's how the addict works, to get him on board. Because see, if he'll do it, then I'll do it. And then I won't feel so bad for spending the money because he'll do it too. See where this addict brain works? And then I hit a brick wall. And this is where recovery comes in. I was like, what are you doing? Stop, Judy. Stop. What are you doing? And I just sob because I'm at step 1, is what I call it. And I'm like, I'm powerless. I have zero control when it comes to this eating. Zero control. So what do I need to do to take care of myself? What do I need to do? And I had to stop myself because I was going right back to that bad place. And see what I would have done. I'll tell you how my brain works. I would have gone to the pharmacy, asked everybody to give me money for Christmas, take all my Christmas money, spend $1,000 to get skinny in a month. And I'd have gotten skinny. I would have given myself shots and I would have gotten skinny. And then 3 months later, I would have probably kept it off for a couple of months because it would give me a high and make me feel great and make me feel beautiful and all this stuff. And then 6 months later, I'd be right back here. I'd be like, I'm fat. It's like this. And I'm going to tell you something. I want you to know this. Whatever you struggle with, you're never fully cured of it. You're going to struggle with it the rest of your life. It's not like I can put this eating disorder down and go, oh my gosh, let me just tell y'all, I do not struggle anymore. And a lot of people talk about in recovery, they talk about, they talk about, God. God healed me from this. Okay, let me just tell you my opinion about that. I do not believe personally. I guess if God chose to take that away from me, he would, but it ain't being taken away from me. And I believe that God gives me a brain, right? To work hard. Like God's just not going to go, let me get a spell. Let me get the preaching stick. Bam, touch her. She is healed in the name of Jesus. She is healed, and we'll never struggle from an eating disorder a day in her life. Let me lay this potion on her. Come to the front of the church. We're going to all pray over you, and you're going to be healed in the name of Jesus. Wouldn't that be nice? I mean, wouldn't that be like I could just go to the altar and all of a sudden God just magically heals me. If he did that, I wouldn't be here talking to you today. I would be going, hey, all y'all need to do is go to the altar, have your preacher lay hands upon you, more than one person. If more than one person lays hands on you, you're going to be healed. All you need to do is go to the altar. That's what I would tell you. But see, I feel like he allows this to happen to my life so that I can struggle, so I can help you and you can help me together so we can walk together through this. Because I do believe God gives me strength to get through this, because there's no way in a million years that I had the strength to overcome. Okay, I can get $1,000. I can go do this, because the human being in Judy, the sinful nature in Judy, wants to go to this day to the pharmacy to get the $1,000 to get the shot. But God gives me the strength to go, hey, Dodo, how'd that work for you last time? The last time you went on this binge diet, how did that work for you? But see, God gives me that brain to slow me down. And I feel like that's the Holy Spirit talking in me to going, are you stupid? Stupid, Judy. Are you so stupid that you're going to waste $1,000 on 3 months of being skinny? Like, don't you want to do this long term? Like, come on, Judy. Let's think about this just for a minute. Okay, you're going to go get a diabetic shot and spend $1,000, and magically you're skinny, and you're going to be skinny the rest of your life. Does it work that way? No. It works from being like Shane, the same every day. Waking up and going, okay, what is today going to look like? Am I going to make good decisions? Am I going to make bad decisions? Okay, well, let's just take one meal, Judy. Let's take one meal and you make a good decision. And then at the end of the day, reward your success. Okay, this morning I ate eggs and bacon. Okay, that wasn't a train wreck. I didn't eat cookies, whatever. And like it's a daily, how you talk about a daily walk with Christ? You have to do it every single day to have a relationship, right? You have to have a relationship with yourself to know your brain, and walk with yourself daily and be gentle on yourself and go, okay, the moment my brain goes into la la land and I think that a diabetic shot's going to cure all my sadness, and it's going to cure the problem of an eating disorder, and I won't have to struggle anymore and make my brain go like this, is the day that you need recovery. If your brain does that, you need recovery, because I'm here to tell you right now that you're wasting your money. So it's been a day, a morning from Hades. I've got to go because I have to go do a tour. I have a family of 10 coming, and I have got to do some cleaning today. Tomorrow is when my dad gets his stitches out of his hand. So I'm going to be going to Birmingham tomorrow. And then next week, a week from today, is when we find out about my dad's treatment. And if I had to guess, he's probably going to have surgery, chemo, and radiation because he has aggressive cancer. So I would think that that's what's going to happen. So I'm preparing myself for that, which means that we will be going to treatment every day. And I'm hoping they'll let us do treatment here at the cancer center. So we have a lot going on. And, I could sit here and say, there's so many days that I want to sit it out. There's so many days that I just want to go get that shot. By going to get that shot is me sitting it out because I want the easy way out, right? We all do. We want that magic pill, the magic pill that's not going to make us be addicted to whatever we're addicted to. We want easy. We want to be rich quick. We want to be skinny quick. That's our brain of being a human being, but it doesn't work that way. It comes from dancing. And it's something that you have to do every single day. You have to walk every single day and get to where you're going. It's not a sprint. You're not going to sprint and get there because you learn nothing on the way. It's a gradual walk and learning yourself and learning your triggers. And when you sit it out like me and lay in the bed, it's going to end up being 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, and you just keep going until you hit rock bottom again. But see, dancing helps you not hit rock bottom. Like getting out of your own sadness and your own crap and helping someone else, it gets you to where you need to go because telling your story helps someone else. It doesn't like keeping silent about your struggles. You're not helping anybody because people think they're like, you might be out there struggling with that whole diabetic shot thing and you might be getting ramped in the whole thing too. And I'm not, let me stop. I'm telling you what's right for me. I shouldn't say that. If you do the diabetic shot and it works for you, great. And if you can do that the rest of your life, fantastic. For me, I know me well enough to know that's not going to work for me. Because I have a problem. I didn't get to this way. I didn't get to where I am today overnight. It's been a gradual thing that's happened since I was in high school. So I know that shot would not work for me. So if I sound judgmental about the shot, I don't mean to. So if you do the shot and it works for you and you can maintain it, I'm rocking you on. I can't do it because I have a problem. So I love you guys. And I hope today something made sense. And I hope this week that when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, that you don't lay in the bed, that you think about your Uncle Shane and go, hey, you can sleep when you're dead and gone. Get up. And I hope that you remember what your Aunt Judy says is when you get up, you have choices. You can dance or you can sit it out. And today, I hope you dance. I will see y'all Wednesday morning at 7 o'clock. I have to say that I'm pretty proud of myself because when I started this routine of I'm going live every Monday and Wednesday morning at 7, and I'm putting out videos on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays. Do you know that I have stuck with that? Listen, that is huge for me to be on a routine. I don't do well with routines. I don't like routines. I like to be all over the place. That's part of being bipolar, is being all over the place because we get high when we're like this. We do. Okay. And like this doesn't feel comfortable to us. We like to be ramped up. We do better when we're ramped up, but that's when we don't make wise decisions. All right. I love you guys and I'll see you Wednesday. I hope you dance.